Hey, everybody. Welcome to Hangin with the Hunns. I'm the host, Todd, and this is my lovely wife, Carrie. Host also.
Hi.
You're not a co-host. You're a host also.
The other host.
Yes, the other host. We're hostesses. So if you are new to the channel, we are all over the place. We have all kinds of fun and we do all kinds of different podcasts. We have the Van Living podcast, which this is an episode of that. And that's our new podcast. And then we have our Hanging with the Hunns podcast. And if you're new here, stick around, follow and like and subscribe because we've got all kinds of stuff for you. So no one will get bored on this channel. Right? Am I right? Maybe she's bored already. So today's episode is a very important one. It's not really a secret. It's a vision we've had and we've been working on it. It's really awesome. We're super excited about it. We're going to tell you about it. But we wanted to kind of do a podcast to kind of let you know about our lives and what we've been doing the past 25 years. And it won't be that long.
Well, we're going way back.
No, but basically, like, there's a lot of people out there that don't know. We have a history of ministry work and doing things for churches. When we first were married, I'm coming from a metal band, and basically I started playing drums in the worship ministry at the church right after I got saved. And Carrie was
working in the children's ministry because naturally we had baby.
Yes, we did.
And so baby, kids. So yeah.
Yeah, and we did that for a while, and that was in Florida. And then we moved to Missouri, and I played drums at a church out there and also was a leader of the youth, one of the youth leaders. Carrie was in the ministry or the children's ministry out there. And we've pretty much always been the music, the worship team, and the children's ministry. So, and then we did all kinds of other stuff. But when we moved back to Florida, so God has given us a lot of visions, and we've been obedient, and we've seen that in our life together. When we are obedient to the Holy Spirit, or when God says something, in a dream or something like that, we act on it and we just do what we're asked. And we've got, extremely blessed by that and doing that, throughout our time, as Christians. The whole Motorcycle Mechanics Institute, I won a scholarship, and that was God. Basically, my mom called me and said, hey, get this.
Well, first, back up a little bit, because God definitely moves in our lives. And I believe it's because when you pray, and sometimes prayers aren't answered the way you think. They're answered because of however God's plan is, which is always usually better, right? Always better. Shouldn't say usually. Anyway, when we moved to Missouri, though, we were there for a little while, but I just wanted to back up a little bit because I found when we were there, I found out my papa was sick, and I really wanted to get back so I could see him while I could before he, had passed. So when I found that out, we were trying to figure out a way to just could we just pick up and leave? Of course, I was pregnant at the time, so anyway, we just prayed about it. We asked our friends and family to pray about it. So yeah, that was one of the things in the situation. Wanted to get back to Florida, and we didn't really know how that was going to happen because it was almost impossible.
Yeah, so definitely answered
your
prayer.
Mother is definitely a praying woman.
Yes.
She was definitely praying for us. So that's probably through her, I believe, is where God spoke through in that situation.
Yeah, and when she told me, it was I was kind of like, yeah, whatever, Mom. And
It made no sense.
we've talked about this before in one of our first podcasts, so I'll give you the short version. But basically, after my mom kept telling me the same thing over and over again, you need to get this video, you need to do this video. I was like, all right. So finally, I'm like, I mean, I like motorcycles and everything, but I wasn't like, I wasn't.
It was a competition.
Yeah, it was a competition to win a full scholarship, a full ride to MMI in Orlando. And we were in Missouri. So anyway, long story short, I got with a pastor friend out there. He was actually the youth pastor, and he was very talented with video editing and all that kind of stuff. And we came up with this, I mean, it was a winning video. So we came up with this 2-minute video that was hilarious and submitted it. And sure enough, I got a call that said, you're in the top 5. And I was like, oh, you should have just left that out. Why are you doing that to me? So
you're saying there's a chance.
Yeah. So we're super excited. And that was like the longest 2 weeks of my life. Yeah. And finally, Jeremy McGrath called me and he's like, hey, this is Jeremy. And I was like, oh, hey, what's up? And because the pastor that actually helped me make the video, his name was Jeremy. So, and he didn't sound like that, but I was like, hey, what's up? Thinking it was Jeremy. And he's like, this is Jeremy. And I was like, oh, cool. Yeah. What's going on? And he's like, Jeremy McGrath. And I'm like, what the heck? And I was like, shut up, did not take him seriously. But anyway, he said, you're the winner of the, and it was the second year they did this competition. Now they've gone, I mean, it's been like 20 years and it's huge. But anyway, long story short, I won. We went to Las Vegas. And she didn't because pregnant. She had the baby. Yeah, so she couldn't fly. But me and my brother flew out to Las Vegas and my nephew. And I accepted the award at the Supercross Championship at Sam Boyd. It's like Sam Boyd. It's a big Coliseum, like outdoor.
Anyway, moving on. We got the scholarship.
We got that. And that was our way to get back to Florida. So we moved back to Florida.
Which was a crazy... Look, this is so funny. Because now thinking back, I'm thinking about everything because we're going to talk about a couple things, I'm sure. I tell you what, people say God has a sense of humor. And I saw he's like, I'm going to put them on a wild ride.
Yeah.
We pray for these things we want or, situations that we need to pray for, to make things happen or a breakthrough or whatever. But it is always like a wild ride.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely not boring.
And I mean, it's like God blessed me with music at a young age. And I've always had really cool things through music, and music's been our life.
Yeah,
pretty much.
I met you in a band.
So I was playing secular music, and I've always been in a band since I was 14 years old. So almost 40 years.
And I was raised around music. I just always enjoyed live music, so it made sense. It's like,
right.
I love music.
Now I play with her family, so we're all family now. But so music has taken us a lot of places, really cool events and everything. And, it's given me the opportunity to serve in the church as a drummer. And, that's been a huge blessing for me. And so when we came back to Florida, I was going to school now in Orlando, and we lived in Jacksonville. Well, I lived in an apartment, and we went back and forth.
Yeah, I was staying in Jacksonville because, of course, I was spending time with my papa, and didn't realize that when I got there that I was actually also going to be helping run his business until we could sell it. So had that whole situation going on. But that's why I had to be in Jacksonville, also with a newborn and a toddler. So what I mean is, it was crazy. It was a crazy
So
ride.
it kind of shows like our history.
But I was just gonna say, but that was an answered prayer. God totally worked that out.
Yeah,
Even though it was
everything.
a wild ride, and
Right.
it just always seems to be like that
Totally.
when we,
Yeah, he brought us back. I mean, he gave us a way, paid the way, and we're just obedient. We listen, and when we hear God speak, we're like, okay, we're doing it. So I've been nomadic my whole life since I was young, and I mean, we've always camped and traveled, and we've lived so many different places.
We're definitely not. It's not new to us to move multiple times. I mean, we definitely have had those situations.
And I say all that because this next calling that we have is, to most people, it's very I don't know. A lot of people, it's like unnerving to think about, because they're like, well, you're not going to have a house.
When you pray and you're asking God to make way.
Yes. Yeah.
And he does. Obedient. If you are feeling like you don't know where to go or what you're doing, or you just feel lost, you pray about it and God will work it out for you. If you have faith, if you if you believe that that's your belief is, like when you have faith that, Jesus is with you and he's going to work everything out for your good. Right. Basically that's what we believe, and that's what we've done.
Okay. But going back.
Okay. Now we're going
back. Long time ago, when we got back we were going, basically, I lived in Orlando. I was moving on the weekends. I'd come home to the family, and we would stay. We were basically homeless at that time. I lived in Orlando in an apartment with a friend, but we were basically nomadic. We would stay with people, and that's when we got our next calling. And our next calling was Canvas Church, and we found Canvas Church through a radio ad, and the pastor had an ad out on the radio, and I was like, oh, we both heard it, and we were like, that's perfect. They need a
drummer.
Yeah, it's perfect timing. It was like church specific plant for a drummer, and then they needed the
just everybody baby, because it was a church
ministry.
Plant.
Exactly. Yeah. So we were like, oh, that'd be so awesome. We could actually build a church, be a part of.
Which I've always wanted to do that. So it was
something from the ground level. So we were all in on that, and we started Canvas Church. And that was an amazing experience, for almost 10 years. So, but we would build that church, build the stage, get everything ready every single weekend in a movie theater. And then it went on to another stage, like a school with a stage and a theater in it. But basically, we were a mobile church and I was kind of in charge of the trailer and the stage management, or whatever you would call it, kind of the logistics part of unload and load. So
set up and tear down.
I do that, and everybody helped. It wasn't just me, but I was kind of the Tetris player in the trailer.
You had skills.
Yeah, unfortunately, those are skills. Do not let anyone know you have trailer packing skills, because you'll be moving every relative and building churches. But it was awesome. No complaints. So we were very involved with that ministry and helped that church grow. And it taught us a lot of things about ministry and just, working for building the kingdom. And so after that church disbanded or closed, we served at other churches, and we moved. Didn't we move to Louisiana? That was
during Canvas. While we were at Canvas, we did leave. It was for a job. You had to go work a job in Louisiana for a couple of years.
Yeah, and then we
served a couple churches there.
Served in churches there. So we've pretty much throughout our whole marriage, we've served at churches. So we love it. It's just something we do, and we want to be a part of that. Well, there was a big span of time after Canvas Church that we weren't serving anymore. I mean, we did a little bit, and then we just kind of stopped, because we just never felt a part of a church family after that.
We visited quite a few. I think it was just there's a bunch of different factors.
Yeah, I
but
mean,
we
it's
just
just
couldn't fit
couldn't find it.
in. Yeah, I mean, we loved everybody that we would meet and that we went to church with, and the churches, don't have anything against them. It was
Yeah,
just a
just
strange
nothing.
thing. We just never really
Right. We just didn't
fit.
connect like we did. And so it's been like that, and finally we got to the point where we're like, we got to get back into, because it just, you just, I don't know, I don't want to say you feel empty, but you're just,
Well,
it's kind of living with no
from where we've
purpose.
come from,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden a long span of time where you're not doing that, it starts to weigh on you. It does.
Yeah.
And you start to wonder, what am I doing? And that's so going back to, that's what I was feeling like. And, it's like,
Right.
I felt like, yeah, what am I doing? I felt the Holy Spirit was like, wake up, come on, you know what you need to do. I don't know. I was like, but it was also just feeling that overwhelm of, there was just a time, I don't know. I guess a lot of people go through that too, where sometimes you just feel overwhelmed with all the stuff that you have in your house. At least that's how it's feeling. I was like, I have too much stuff. And I think it has a lot to do also with our kids moving out and they're becoming adults. And then it's just, and we got this house for a family, for our kids.
Yeah.
That now with them moving out or them going off to do their own thing, we're like, okay, now that this is just too many rooms,
get back on purpose.
too many things, and I want to get rid of them. And then that's just where that kind of started, where
Not
it's
the
like
kids, the things,
the things. And that's where that started, where it was just like, okay, let's, I kind of just wanted to do simple life and started looking up YouTube things, and that's where we were, coming across the van life people, and how at first I thought it was crazy because I'm like, there's no way they're living in that little tiny space. And I was like, oh, I don't know if I could do that. But then I started to understand, like, it was like, oh, okay, this makes sense. Because you're not really in there like you're in a house. You're living in there only to sleep and eat. It's like your place to stay, but the whole point is, because it's small and because you can travel, you are going to places that you're going to be out and experiencing life outside of your house, outside of your, comfort zone. And, and that was what was appealing to me. And I was like, oh my gosh, that sounds like freedom. I was
right.
like, we don't have to have a big house. We can, I think we could do this. And then it was like, started to get exciting. And then I was like, I want to do this. And then I was like, how can we do this? It's like, and it was just like the same thing, like how, you start to wonder, like, how can I do this? And then we just like started praying about it and just being like, I don't know, if it's God's will, he'll work it out for us. And,
Well, and before that, probably a year before we were really thinking about anything, I was getting just like restless, because I have like wanderlust when it comes to, I don't want to be, I've
and
just
I thought
never
you were
been
crazy then too.
I've never been held down in a house ever. I mean, only for the time you were talking about when we raised our kids. Now our kids are out and they're adults now, and I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to stay in a house.
Don't say
and
that.
I know I've said this many times on podcasts before. This house has been such a blessing to us, and I mean, our kids love it, and it is just, it's been a great home. But I don't want to sit here until, because I'm getting older now. She's not getting older, I'm getting older. And, it's like, I don't want to just sit here watching Netflix until I'm,
Apparently that's all we did. Apparently that's all we would do.
No, I mean, Netflix. We do things, but it's just like, the majority of the time we're sitting here doing nothing. So anyway, point being, I was praying to God. I'm like, God, give me some kind of purpose, something to do. And, artistically, because I was playing in a bunch of bands, and, I've always had that. And music's a huge blessing, and it's outlet for, for those things, but it's not, I don't really see it as like my purpose anymore,
Yeah.
And I know that's weird to say for some people that are like, music's your life, and it has been our life.
And it's not like you'll just stop and never play.
No, I mean, I'm still gonna play, but it's like I was just praying for something more, different purpose, and that's when I started doing the bottle art, and I was like, really wanted to do a podcast, and that's when the whole podcast thing was put together. It's just I couldn't do it for like probably 10 years. I was praying about it, and I had other people that were like, yeah, I'll do it with you. I'll do it with you. And they didn't do it. And then Carrie was finally like, I'll do it. And I was like, yes. So, because it's awesome, because we know we're always going to be together. So that's the best thing in the world.
Well,
I don't have to rely on her to be there,
Well, that's the thing. We were watching Netflix together. We were watching TV. We were doing all these things. Like, I'm already here. Why don't we just, instead of watching TV, why don't we go do a podcast?
Right.
Why don't everybody else hang out with us while we talk about stuff?
So we started the podcast
Hanging with the Hunns,
and just did stories that were,
well, it
just
started
good
out
stories.
If you've seen the ones from the beginning, it started out a little like, we don't know what the heck we're doing.
Right.
We're just going to do it. We're just going to have fun while we're doing it.
Right.
We did what we, thought was either fun or entertaining or, whatever. You can go check those out later.
Yeah. And I
if
think
you haven't yet. Yeah, they were fun, but they changed over time too. Things just changed. Like our direction changed. We started to think,
Well, no, I don't think so. I think what happened was we started to see what the purpose was that God was using us for. And it was just blending into the videos.
To bring other people in. Like at first it was just us doing our thing.
Right.
And then that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
So it was we did start thinking about, let's interview people. Let's have other people tell a story. And then that's where we're like, oh my gosh, like my aunt was our first person we had on. She has a great story, and so that's what I mean. And that's what I really just like started to be like, I love this. I love hearing people tell their stories. Right. I always have been that way. I've always loved hearing my family tell their stories. Some of my family just has like the best stories. And then I'm still hearing some stories, and I'm glad some of them were kept until I was older, because now finding out, I'm like, what? But yeah, I love storytelling. I love hearing people's stories. So yes, that's when we started to do that part of it, which is my favorite. I love it.
Yeah. So we were, watching YouTube a lot and doing all these awesome podcasts with these incredible stories. And finally we were like, we could do this on the road, and and then we're like, how, kind of started thinking about that. Well, we started praying about it, and basically, we're trying to figure out the link between working and freedom, and being in a house or being in a van, that crossover in between. And so we're praying about it, and God said,
how to possibly, because I work from home, so how could to possibly keep working,
right,
have a way to do that. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The crossover, like how do we
continue doing what we're doing, but then in a tiny home instead?
Yeah. How do we live?
Gotcha.
And it's like I'd love to think the YouTube channel would, blow up and
that's what we were thinking at first.
Pay for our gas money. I mean, it's not out of
you
mind.
never know.
I mean, you never know.
Yeah.
But we've been doing this for a year and a half, and we're loving it. We're doing it, and it's definitely our purpose. But we can't depend on that to be our income
for now.
For now. So we're trying to figure other things out. So anyway, we went to we got the van, and the van was kind of one of those things that was just God too. I was like thinking, how am I going to afford? Because I have a 4-wheel drive truck that I pulled my lawn trailer with for the business. I have a lawn business, and so that's half of our income, and then Carrie works, and I'm like, well, I can't sell the truck because if I sell the truck, then I won't be able to stay in business. And God spoke to me. I was mowing along, and God just said, and this was not me, because I wouldn't have thought of it. And God said, just use the van, buy the van and use the van. And I was like, what? You can do that? Like, cause it's like a camper,
Apparently.
So I started researching the vans and the capability and everything. And I was like, oh, that's totally doable. It's like, so.
And before I even knew what van or anything, like we have a friend that works at an RV place, and they were having an RV event where you can actually go and look at them. You can, walk through them, look at whatever ones they have. So we did decide to do that because we're like, let's go check them out so we can actually see them in person. And
yeah, so but it's pretty much with us, when God speaks something to us, we're to the point now where we're very quick to listen, and we get started. Especially me, it's probably to a fault. I mean, I probably like get too excited about it. She's like, simmer down. we're not leaving yet. But so anyway, we get the van, and then so we're doing all this, and it's all kind of starting to weave together, like in our minds. We're like, okay, wait, this is going to work. We can do this and this and this. We can do podcasts at festivals, and right about that time, we got tickets to Peace, Love, and Vans, and that's a big van festival.
it's what we've been seeing on YouTube. Because again, we were watching YouTube and following these people that live in their vans, and we found that they go to these festivals, and there's only like 1 or 2 at the time.
Right.
And this one was just one of them that happened to be in Florida. And, we're seeing how amazing the community is just by their videos that they've been posting, that they'll share of all of them. It's like you can see different perspectives of the events and when they're together, because they're all filming and they're all friends.
Yeah,
so we got
cool
to see like different views of it. So it was just cool to see that, like, oh, that's a cool community. They're so like they're all friends, and they all go to these places. So that already sounded like really good, because I was like, at first we're just watching solo people, and that's great too. But I'm like, what do they do? Like, get together? Did they ever get together with people? And it's like, so when we found this little group, I was like, oh, they do get together and go to festivals.
Yep.
And then they also do meetups and stuff and go to other things. But anyway, that's what we wanted to get to the festival so we can actually meet these people in real life and say, oh, you are real.
Yeah. And so the main theme, and I know we've talked about this before, but the main theme at that festival was, I mean, it came out in all the different talks, and all the different workshops we were listening to. They all had very common factors to them, and there's not really a solution. There's little things you can do, but basically, so what I'm trying to say
the biggest concern
is like safety is a big one. Safety. A lot of these are single women, and they're out there, solo women doing this, so safety is a factor. Where to stay is a huge factor, because
that's what really hit me, because yes, I've heard of some of the apps and some of the things, even like when homeschooling, and people that would live in their campers in homeschool. So of course I heard about these apps that you have where you can stay places, but it's mainly for campers or camping, and not everybody, whether you're in your car or van, they're not all friendly. Some places aren't, maybe not safe either, or you can't rely on them because, there's people will say, hey, yeah, you could stay here. And then you find out, yeah, no, that was not a good idea because it was not legal.
Yeah. So basically the concern that we heard was where do we stay? We're
Parking.
basically, we do not have a home. Our home is this van or this RV, and we live in it. So there's a lot of places. There's Cracker Barrel, there's Walmart, there's Pilot truck stops, and there's BLM lands in California.
And just to be clear, hold on, I don't mean to cut you off, but just to be clear, these are people that mostly they're travelers. A lot of them are travelers, so they're not looking to live in a spot or stay very long. They just need a parking spot so that they can just stay overnight, so they can continue their journey.
Right.
And so apparently that's what's a problem. There's a lot of no parking places or places that people don't want you parking. So it makes it a challenge.
And the laws are getting worse.
Yeah.
Worse. Sorry.
So bad.
They're just making, there's no solutions. The government does nothing except makes a law. So these people can't stay there. It's not there's no place for, it's not saying, well, you can go here. Like California has these places called safe parking lots.
They've found a solution.
And they're actually doing stuff in Oregon,
or trying,
Washington, on the West Coast. They're actually doing this because it's a problem, and they don't want to be like, no, just, like there's so many people that have the attitude, just get rid of the homeless people. And I mean,
yeah, because that's where it starts. All the problems, or a lot of the problems, are a lot of the homeless people that cause the problems. And yes, we do have that. We do have people who don't respect,
yeah, and
their areas.
That's really an attitude of somebody who is not a Christian. And we're believers, and so we started, on the way home. It was really in my mind, like kind of reflecting on the whole thing. And I'm like, everything was pointing to this.
Well, yeah. And it's kind of like, it's just how it touched me, because it broke my heart to know that there's such a challenge when it seems like it's not a big deal. It seems like it shouldn't be a big deal, but it upset me to where it's like, yes, this is something I will take to God and I will pray about it, just like I do when I feel for my friends that, feel like, it's just, I feel like if there's a situation that you're having a hard time with, it's like, it shouldn't be that way. And so, yes, I take it to the Father and I'm like, please, how do we help them? I want to help them. How can we help them? How can we make this right? And that's one of the things. So
he told us.
Yeah.
And he told us.
Both of us. At different times.
Yes. So.
And we confirmed it together.
We've had this vision for almost a year now.
Well, yeah, because
probably 7 months. 7 months. So we've had this vision and we've been working on it. We have a big whiteboard and we've been, finding pros and cons about it. Things that would come up like legal issues. And we've just really kind of been like spitballing, as they call it.
Yeah, why is there a problem? Why is there such a problem? And why hasn't there been anything done about it? So yes, there are concerns. I get that. But why stop there? We should be able to work through those concerns.
So there are let me put on my readers.
And that was one of the things that stuck out when the guy was on the stage at the festival. He's like, this was an issue he brought up. It was parking. And he's like, we need to get to the bureaucrats and, get past all this nonsense of all these laws going against people that are just trying to live their life in freedom. And, there shouldn't be such a pushback on that. Like, I get it. It's not homeless. There is an issue with homeless. That's a whole nother thing that is also something that has been on my heart. But anyway.
So basically, Walmart and Cracker Barrel are like the heroes of the van life community.
And
it's a good thing what they're doing, because they're very helpful, and the whole community supports these people, and they go in and they eat breakfast or shop, and they keep the parking lot clean, and we take care of our things, because we know there's more laws, and the laws keep coming. So until we can fix the laws, we need other solutions. And what God told us is churches. There are 660 Cracker Barrels in the United States. There are 4,600 Walmart locations in the United States. And that seems like a lot. And then there's 5,000 plus truck stops. And not all of these allow overnight parking. But when it comes to churches, there are 358,000 churches in America. So that's it right there. So we're calling this Stay on the Way. And basically it's going to be a website where you're going to have all your resources that are for the travelers. And the church is going to be able to log in. They're going to have their own page. They're going to say, we have this many spots available for one night or 2 nights, whatever they want to allow. And they're going to say, we have a water spigot here.
Basically, it's going to show availability if they have any parking place. They could have 1 or 2. It might not have a lot. It might only have 1 or 2 there.
How many churches have you been by that already have a van? They have the church van in there.
Yeah.
And they usually have huge parking lots. And this is going to be after hours. So there
really shouldn't be a problem.
It's an open parking lot.
Yeah.
For travelers to stop. And there's a church in every town. There's usually dozens in every town. So
you would have to sign a waiver if you're going to park there. So we want to have that available for
and that's going to be in the website on the church side of the website. So whatever their rules are, it's going to be on their page. So every church that signs in to stayontheway.com is going to be able to say, we have food pantry available. We have a harvest fest this weekend. We have water. We have parking spots. We have prayer. Our service time is here. If you want to donate to our church, it's right here. So everything the church wants to put is going to be on their side of the website, and it's going to become a hub for churches all around the world to go and put in one central website all their resources that they have for the community.
Yes, because and we say world because we do hope that this reaches over to the UK and everyone over there too, because that is others that we've watched in the UK that have had the same situations, finding a place to park, finding a place to get fresh water. So yeah, it's all around the world. There are people living in their vans and they're doing great. It's not a homeless thing. They choose, it works for them. And, we should be helping each other find a way to make it work and have biblical. A safe place to stay. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me read this verse real quick. Okay. So Matthew 25:35 is, for I was hungry and you gave me food to eat. I was thirsty and you gave me drink. I was a stranger and you took me in. I was naked and you clothed me. I was sick and you visited me. I was in prison and you came to me. So this verse right here is kind of our core verse in the heart of the church.
I know it probably sounds like such a unique ministry or unique outreach, whatever you want to call it. But isn't that how any ministry outreach starts?
It's something that
you feel on your heart is a need and it moves you to want to do something.
What we're doing is being obedient.
We took it to God, we prayed about it, and we believe this is what he's telling us to do. And so we're hoping that
Exactly. So
our vision.
we are being called to do this. So we're trying to figure out how to do it. Who's going to help us? We're praying for God to send people to help us. Well, the only way people will know to help us is if we put out our idea. That's why at first we were kind of like thinking maybe we shouldn't tell anybody because someone's going to steal this idea.
Honestly,
but hold on.
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter, because if God is going to bless the world with this idea, it's going to be whoever
he'll
does it.
use whoever use whoever that he wants to use, and we may just be the messengers.
Right. So if it's not us,
this
it's
is what
not
we
us.
do. We have a podcast. We have a way to give a message, and so it may be just to give the message to get it out there, that make awareness, because this is something I don't think a lot of people realize, that there are a lot of people out there, and they shouldn't be feeling
350,000 people live in their cars. It's like 750,000 homeless people in America, and basically 350,000 of them live in their cars. So it's a problem.
And that's a whole nother thing too. Eventually, we get to serve those people also. Those are the people they're homeless, but they don't consider them homeless because they have their car. They have a place that they can feel safe in, that they live in, but they're still going to work, but they don't have a safe place to park. A lot of times they're making it work out west. We have to make something work out here in the east, because it's over here too.
Okay.
But anyway,
hold on real quick before you start that. And then I know y'all are saying, have you seen California? Yes, we have. And we've thought about that, and it looks terrible. There's RVs, trash
but they
everywhere.
are trying.
Hold on. Let me explain.
Oh, sorry.
They're trashing the cities and everything. These are not the people. This isn't what we're talking about. We're talking about cars that are registered, cars that are in working.
Oh, yeah.
Cars and vans and RVs that are actually working. They're registered, up to date, and legal. And
a lot of times just passing through. That's what this is.
Yeah,
that's what I was saying. The ones people that are living in their cars, which is another.
Yeah, we haven't figured that.
That is another awareness situation. That's a whole different thing.
Right.
That, like I said, one day, hopefully we'll figure out something for that too. But we're not talking about that right now. We're only talking about people that are traveling. They're not going to stay for very long.
Right.
They are moving along because they're exploring. They're exploring the states.
Exactly.
And
living life.
They just are passing through. They need a safe place to stay, fill up water. Maybe if you have a food pantry and they, might need food.
And water is such a huge commodity to these people, because, they need it to live, and they have their tanks. And how hard is it just to offer a spigot that's outside of a church with a hose, and people will take care of it, and that's not a lot of money. There's not going to be dozens of people coming. It's just going to be like one or two.
It would be. That's why we want the website, so that they can. It's like reserving a spot, basically, like you would at a campground, but they're only stopping over maybe 1 or 2 nights. It depends on how long they need to rest or
whatever the church wants to allow.
But they can go on the website and they reserve the spot, and they might find that there's other amenities that they may need, but they are going to sign a waiver too. I really think it's important that there is a waiver there, so you are not held accountable.
It's basically like
nobody's held accountable. You are there you go there respectfully, and that's what we hope for,
Right.
So
and if you're not, and you break the rules, you'll be banned from the system. And
so there's ways to work this out.
Yeah. It's already been done. I mean, we're just doing it from a faith-based aspect, so
so anyway,
this is our statement.
So did you just want me to read in here?
Yeah, that's fine.
So yes.
Well, what's that?
Oh, here, you want to read it then?
Not really.
What do you want me?
I can.
What do you want me to read? Just tell me.
I just can't really see.
That's fine.
I'm blind.
Me either. That's why I don't wear these. So, do you want me to just read the whole thing?
Yeah.
Okay. So, we're calling this Stay on the Way, a vision for hospitality, connection, and the church on the road. And we address this as, or we're writing to dear pastor, friend, a brother, sister in Christ. We are reaching out in obedience to what we believe the Holy Spirit has placed on our hearts. Oh, I hope I can read this.
I don't know. Maybe I should read it.
Through our time traveling and serving in churches, we have seen firsthand the need for safe, trusted places for travelers to rest. At the same time, we have seen churches across the country with parking lots, ministries, resources, volunteers, events, and a heart to serve. We believe God is calling his church back to something simple and powerful, to be a refuge, a place of hospitality, and a visible connection point for the people around it. The vision, Stay on the Way, is a bridge connecting churches with the people they are called to serve. The first doorway is simple, helping travelers find churches and ministry partners that choose to offer permission-based overnight parking, along with whatever hospitality each church is willing and able to provide. A church determines its own availability, number of spaces, stay limits, rules, and resources. The vision, however, is much larger than parking. Stay on the Way is being developed as a central website and eventually a mobile app where churches can make the ministries and resources they already provide easier for travelers and local communities to discover. Hub churches and ministry partners could share resources such as safe overnight parking and basic traveler information, food pantries and community meals, clothing closets and practical assistance, prayer, worship services and Bible studies, recovery, counseling and support ministries, volunteer and outreach opportunities, youth, family, and senior ministries, Easter, Christmas, fall festivals, VBS, and community events, other services and resources each church chooses to make available. Because these people are going to be coming through, you never know what season in their lives or what season we're celebrating. So it could just be a blessing.
Yep.
You never know where it could lead. So we believe many churches are already doing extraordinary work. Often the resources exist. People simply do not know where to find them. Stay on the Way seeks to help bridge that gap. Stay on the Way church tour. So moving on.
This is our new.
This is what was developed.
This is awesome. So this is what God has added. So He is adding.
He says not only day almost. Yeah, basically he says not only because we want to travel, we want to go. We like our whole thing that we wanted to get van life, and we thought, we'll go travel and see all these great places that all our friends have been seeing and everything. But God says, but there's more.
No, here's the thing: is I need a purpose.
Yeah, and same. I was asking for a purpose too.
Right.
So not only He gave us this vision, but our next thing that
we have a purpose for being out on the road, and this is fun because, like, I've always heard in the church world, you have the senders and you have the goers, right? The goers and the senders. So you have the people that help the goers go, and then you have the people that are ready to go. So they're available in that part of their life, to where we can just, once the house is sold, we can go wherever.
Yeah.
So this is our new addition to Stay on the Way, which is the national tour.
So basically, we're Todd and I believe this ministry should be something that we personally live out, not simply a website we ask other people to use, but our vision is to travel across the United States, visiting churches that have been a part of our lives and faith journey over the past 25 years, while also visiting new churches that become part of the Stay on the Way.
Yep, exactly.
So we would like to
videos.
Yeah, we would like to personally meet those who want to join us in our vision, and partner with them and be part of the network together. So we want to meet pastors and congregations, stay where appropriate, worship with them, learn about the ministries they offer, serve alongside them, and help tell their stories. Again, because we have a podcast. So
Yep.
they'll be hanging with the
Exactly.
Hunns. So
Yeah.
we'll be doing that on tour too. So we'll be okay, so next thing, which goes into we'll be documenting the journey through Hanging with the Hunns, our YouTube channel, videos, interviews, and podcast content. We plan to document the journey and introduce viewers to the churches, pastors, ministries, volunteers, travelers, and communities we encounter. The purpose is not simply to create travel content. We want the content to help churches learn from one another, show people where help and ministry are available, encourage other churches to participate, and share testimonies of what can happen when the church reaches beyond its walls. And why this matters: travelers routinely look to businesses, truck stops, campgrounds, and parking apps when they need somewhere to stop. We dream of a day when a traveler can also confidently look to God's house with permission, clear expectations, and a church that has chosen to welcome them. At the same time, a person living only a few miles from a church may have no idea that the church offers food, clothing, recovery support, prayer, children's activities, community events.
Let me stop you right there. Okay. Because this is important, and I've seen this in my own life. Food pantries. There was a time in our life where we needed to use food pantry. We needed them.
Been there, yeah.
The only way to find them is usually it's just a sign in front of the church that says food pantry on Tuesday at 4 or whatever. Or they have their own website, which is fine too. But even when you search through Google, it's so hard to find any resources. So that's the main thing about this website, is it's going to be a hub for all of that. So people can go to one site, go to their town, and they'll see all the churches and all their resources in their area, so they can go to get that, whatever they need.
Because to try to go to every church's website is just too much.
Right.
I mean, that's too many different websites. So why not have one website that you go to that's specifically for what you're looking for?
Right.
So basically, just to kind of sum it all up or finish it all. So travelers need resources. Churches have resources. Stay on the Way connects them. And, it's like, if we always say, pray, go to God, ask God for help, that's our resource. Jesus is our helper. And if we say that, then the church is supposed to be that example. Church, we are all the church that are to get together. We are supposed to be there to help people. So it only makes sense that if we feel there's a need and there's people that need help in this situation specifically, why not look to the church? It only makes sense. And so when God said,
and
stay at my house,
there's a lot of Bible verses. Hebrews 13:2 says, "Don't forget to show hospitality to strangers, for in doing so, some have entertained angels without knowing it." And 1 John 3:18 says, "My little children, let's not love in word only or with the tongue only, but in deed and truth."
So now I'm going to finish this with that this is an invitation. It is.
Dog is going
crazy. It is. We are presenting something that's not finished, or we're not presenting something that's finished. We are stepping out in faith and beginning to build what we believe God has placed before us, a need that He's placed on our heart. We know a vision like this will require the body of Christ working together. If God places Stay on the Way on your heart, we would love to talk. Help could take in many forms. Prayer. So we ask, of course, your prayer, wisdom, church participation, ministry, partnerships, legal or technical guidance. We'll need that. Volunteering, financial support, introductions to other churches, or simply helping us discern the next faithful step. Our hope is not to build something that belongs to us. Our hope is to help create a tool that serves the church, connects the body of Christ, and makes its resources more visible and accessible to the world around us.
Yeah.
We are trusting God to lead the right people, churches, and partners at the right time. With gratitude and faith, Todd and Carrie.
Yes, letter we've sent to several pastors and churches, in our area and that we've worked with. And so we basically what we're praying for right now is God to send people that can help us, because we don't want to partner. We don't just want to have this for ourselves.
Well, it's not that we don't know what we're doing. It's just,
well, I mean, there's aspects like website, the website is the core of this vision, and they've got, we need somebody to help us build a website. So that's, if that's your expertise, get a hold of us and we'll definitely.
Yeah, well, or just with this being out there and seeing that there is, we have this vision, and we're just wanting to help people. And even though God gives us this vision, and we do trust that He's going to work it all out. I mean, that's why I was like, I struggled about, like, I was telling, should we talk about it? Should we just wait? Because sometimes, you feel like you want to just wait. And yes, we have been waiting on the Lord, and we are still waiting on the Lord. And I know, and that means we know that He's going to come through. We do have that faith. So I know He's not going to just give us this vision and just be like, oh, that's it.
Right, but if people don't, like I said, if people don't know what the vision is,
yeah. So we
don't
just
know
wanted to share it with
they don't
y'all.
even know we need help. So
yeah,
we do need help. So that's basically it.
Yeah.
That's our big vision, and we are going forward, in faith and praying. So anyone out there, that can help us.
And who knows how long
it.
I mean, we hope that we get it started right away. I hope that this goes to, and it becomes something, now, like, quick, because I know there's a need for it, but it may take a while. Who knows? We're just going to be obedient. We're going to step out in faith. We're going to do what we know God's telling us to do. And along the way, hopefully it builds, and that's what we'll.
What's that verse in John? Basically Mary says, just do what he says.
And how many times have we been hearing that since we've been going to church? So yes,
it's like the simplest verse, but it's so great.
We have just recently got back into church, which has been great. And we visited a few different ones, and we have friends at all of them. And I know every time we've been, it's like, go.
Yeah. And
just do it.
I know.
Just last weekend and the weekend before that, it's like, just do it. Okay. Yeah, well, that's what we're doing.
I know. I love it.
We're gonna just do it.
And I've heard recently, so that one of the pastors of a church said, why are you going to church? And it's so that, and we know that's why we're going to, this church, and we're going to start serving, and we just need to, for now, until we're actually out on the road, we need to be serving in the church, that we can build ourselves, so that we can find out, disciple ourselves, pray, so that we can receive prayer and wisdom. Yeah. There's a lot of so that's, but
we're stepping out in faith so that God can be glorified.
So
he gets all the glory.
Sums it up.
Yep. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching.
Guys. Please subscribe to the channel and share this video with anyone.
Hit that like button.
Any pastor friends stuff you have that might be able to help us with ministry, because I know they're out there, and this is a new thing, and it's going to be a lot of fun. It's super exciting for us. We're passionate about it, and we want to be the hands and feet. So love y'all. God bless you.
That's it.
Yep. Peace.
Bye.